Hi, this is Suzanne in Ohio. I just have a little journal flip for you today. This is the latest one I finished. It is very small, but boy, is it packed out. Now, I have another one very similar, and I'll show that to you. It's got the bluebird on it. I already did a video on that, and that's already on my Etsy site. This one is very similar in size and technique, but it's much more loaded, fully dressed, as the term goes, I guess. So on the front, just fabric and textile collage. Underneath, an art print of something, a piece of art that I did many years ago. And when you open it up, you've got a text spot here. And let me see if I can get these things out. Maybe that's all I put in there. But a collage on the text spot, on the front of the text spot, and a little vintage print, writing lines. On this side, a little tuck spot out of a textile that I had done, a copy of a vintage envelope. And you can't see it very well, but I believe it's 1910. It's real close to that. All the stuff that I got from this person was from 1905 up to 1940. So a textile and botanical print right there, which forms a little pocket, and there's a little prompting right there, and copy of a textile print, and there is a pocket here. Now I had to stop loading this thing up. It was getting so fat I couldn't close it, but you could slip something small in there. These are my vintage textile snippet collages, and I make pockets and tuck spots out of them. Those are also on my Etsy site. So here we have just 3 little vintage items, and you can write on the back of them. Even though this thing is small, it's just packed with places to write. Let me scoot back up here. I'm falling off. Okay, print of a vintage, or a fabric collage that I had done. An old photograph. I do have this original photograph. I don't know what year it is, but I would guess 1910, 20, or earlier. Could be 1800s because of the hairdo and the dress. Okay. Seed packet front. Over here, another lady with the ugliest hair. All these people have ugly hair. I collected these because I'm a hairdresser, and when I was teaching, I did a lot of samples of hair from the ages past. This is a little Birds and Blooms printout about a cherry tree. And if you notice here, the piece of art that's on the front is only a partial piece. Here's a copy, just a paper copy of a more in-depth look at that piece of art. An old-fashioned bonnet. My grandmother wore one of these to work in the garden, so I put that in there. It forms a tuck spot. Plenty of writing space here. One of my feathers that I painted. I have a collection of those on my Etsy site if you're interested. These are prints of vintage handkerchiefs. Those are also on my Etsy site. This came out of a book I have that talked about days gone by, and it had several pictures of old appliances. Just a copy of a vintage envelope for writing. Over here in this tuck spot is a teacup. I made these teacups out of fabric. They're actually fabric appliques, but then I made copies of them, printed them off, so they make a nice paper element also. A little bag that I made out of gift wrap. On this side, more of these snippets. A rose advertisement for rose cream. I love these old catalogs and seed pack covers. Made a nice print and lots of space to write on it. Birds of the British Isles and their eggs, and that's just a little writing spot. And these terracotta pots, which I painted, I made them a tuck spot. And behind it is this print of a vintage napkin or handkerchief. I'm not sure what that was, a handkerchief. Okay, so I made a fold with a flip over here and collaged it with a little butterfly, and there's just a journaling card made out of my hand-dipped paper, hand-dyed paper. Here's a jelly print on the background and a picture of a vintage textile. That makes a nice little card. Okay, on this side, I didn't have anything to put in there yet, but it's an egg and it is a tuck spot. I'll stick something else in that. On this side, picture of garden spike made out of an old silverware, trowel, and fork for digging, and then of course another vintage seed packet or a catalog. I'm not sure which one that is. That makes a beautiful little tuck spot. Okay, over here, tuck spot, and here's a poem with some vignette, and it's all about the country lane. So if you love nature, you'll love everything that has to say. Potting bench or potting cabinet, and behind it I stuck a little booklet that I made out of a seed packet, and there are places in the envelope for you to tuck something. These both ends open up, and it has pages in there for writing. On this vintage watering can, print out a black sunflower seed bag. Over here, a little tuck spot, collage in the background, and a bag I made. I got glue on that. I'll have to get that off. A bag I made out of wrapping paper. Over here, a print of a multimedia, mixed media thing that I had done. This was a real photograph of mine. That robin built a nest right on top of my watering can. Again, a tuck spot here. Fabric pieces. And this one's awfully cute. The toad is a tuck spot, as well as the terracotta pot. So, put something little in there. It's awfully cute. A tuck spot. I made these fabric things to use as tuck spot and word prompts, and you can find them on my Etsy site. I tried this idea just today, and I really like it. I have some beautiful pages out of a tree book, a very vintage tree book, all printed in black and white with hand-drawn elements. And they were just too bright, so I encompassed the whole page in tracing paper, and then I free motioned quilted just through the center, swirlies, just to keep the papers together, and then stitched around the edge. So you can write right on top of that tracing paper, and you can still see the information in the background, which is kind of fun. Okay, a terracotta pot, another silver spoon going across like a belly band, and just a cutout from a greeting card. Very appropriate for this journal. A blank page. Oh my gosh, one blank page. I don't know if I can stand it or not. Collage here on this flip. This is more of a tuck, and I put just another seed packet for Cosmos because you can use that as an envelope. And this is a print of a vintage embroidery textile. Okay, and the back, very simple. And as you can see, it's quite full. And I don't know whether to put a string around it for closure or leave it, but I'll decide sometime today. This will be up on my Etsy site if I get enough daylight today to take some photographs, and if not, it'll probably be up tomorrow. But thank you for all you YouTubers that share your ideas and everything with us so that we can have jump off points to be creative. I just love everything I see on there. And I want to say thank you especially to Patricia Veramontes, I believe is the way you pronounce it, for the ideas for pockets that I've gotten from her. All right, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Happy creating, and come back and visit me again.